Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another solar video on the channel. I am super excited to bring on somebody who was able to build $1 billion solar company. He had the largest privately owned solar company in the entire United States of America, which is absolutely insane. I got him on my channel, which is amazing. And the reason why I wanted to bring him on is because I heard his story on a podcast. I've known about Jason for a long while because I've been in the industry for a bit, but I didn't know the story. I didn't know how he started the company. I didn't know that he was a serial entrepreneur to begin with. I didn't know what happened with the fallout, what happened with the Power Home Solar, because he owned Power Home Solar to begin with, and then he transitioned that to Pink Energy, and he was able to get the company and almost go public in 2022 with a valuation with just over $1 billion. The guy's a freaking powerhouse. That's why I wanted to have him on, and he shared a lot of nuggets and a lot of his ideas of how he built those companies, what was his strategies. And so make sure you put all your distractions away and pay 100% attention to this video. I'm sure it's going to be valuable to you. Without further ado, let's get right in. I've got the one and only Jason Waller. Thanks for being on, brother.
Bam! How you doing?
Dude, if I was any better, I'd be you.
Yeah, that's what Bradley always says.
Yeah, dude,
He says the same thing. He's doing better to be you. So I guess that's the comment. I always say, if people say, how you doing? I'm like, well, the sun's shining, the birds are chirping, right? And I'm still breathing. So things are on the up.
Dude, I mean, listen, for anybody, I know my audience is primarily solar, but I wanted to have Jason on because of, actually because of Bradley's podcast. I didn't know about your story, bro. And like I was saying to you, like right before we came on here, dude, my respect for you just went through the roof because I heard your story. I didn't know about your story. And I want you to go into like a very brief detail, like kind of like your background in what happened, because ladies and gents, like Jason was able to build, multiple 8-figure company. Am I right, bro? Multiple.
Well, this one was a 10-figure company.
No, that was a 10-figure, but before.
Oh, that, yeah. Four companies worth over $10 million. One company worth $1 billion. Yes.
A billy. Bro, first of all, I want to ask, like, how did he feel, bro? How did it feel?
Well, at the time, it was surreal, but it doesn't happen overnight. At least it didn't for us. There's some people that have their claim to fame. It's quick. Ours was grinding every day. And then it was like, oh my gosh, we broke 1 million a year. Oh my gosh, we broke 10 million a year. Oh my gosh, we broke 1 million a month. Oh my gosh, we broke 5 million a month. Oh my gosh, we broke 20 million a month. Oh my gosh, we broke 50 million a month in revenue. And when you stay in the moment, I've always lived my life and business in 30, 60, 90, 120. I don't look and go, oh, I want to build this $1 billion company. I go, I'm building a new company right now. I want to get to $1 million in sales. Well, we did that in 4 months. We did 1 million in sales. All right, great. Now I want to get to 2 million in sales. We're about to do that in month 9. Great. You got to stay focused on when you get to a mountain or you get to a building. You don't say, I want to get to the 100th floor. You go, I want to get to the 2nd floor, then 3rd floor. And people forget to do that in business because they have their mindset on the ultimate prize. And you can't do that because you'll lose focus of what you got to do. And so when we would do that, I get pictures that pop up all the time, like one from 6 years ago when we first opened Michigan. That was our 2nd market. And I sent it to my old business partner. We're laughing. He's like, man, the good old days. And we thought we were big shit, man. We were like, look, we just opened a 2nd market. When we closed, we had 26 markets open, 57 locations. But that was our first one we opened in 2017. We were like, shit, we were jacked, right? But that's what happens. And you grow with it, you learn from it, and it speeds up the process of growing. You learn how to scale correctly. You learn how to make it a cookie cutter program of what to do, what not to do. Opening your first few locations is tough. After that, it just fucking becomes simple. It's just, we were doing like one every other month. And, we build really good bench strength. So that all those principles you learn when you're running your own company that I apply now. So Power Home Solar, also known as Pink Energy, we didn't break profit until month 19. And year 2, we did 10 million in sales and lost money. Year 3, we did 40 million in sales and we made money. Year 1 was 3 million. The company I'm building now that I'm involved in, and I'm going to be involved in a few of them. We'll end up doing probably 20 million our first year
Wow.
in sales, and it's not solar, right? It's a different home service business.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have the program, I have the map, right? I have it's all, what to do, how to grow, how to scale, how to market, how to lead gen, how to diversify, how to build door knocking ventures, whatever it is. So I don't care if I'm selling ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
I could build it. And, it's fun. It sucks starting over. My life's different now because I was being coached from public CEOs to be a public CEO.
Mm.
And, I lost personally $400 million on the closure of my company. And I had to lay off 2,400 employees that were the best employees in the planet. And I had to leave 40,000 customers confused. Not all 40,000 are screwed over, though. 20,000 had Solar Edge. They're not in a bad position. They just don't
Mm.
have a warranty company.
Right.
But the 20 with Generac are fucked. And Generac internally told us a lot of things, and they took responsibility, and it is their fault. Like, people are like, "Oh, you're blaming Generac." No, no, no. Let me explain this. It's fucking Generac's fault. Like, we won every award. We had an A+ with the BBB. We were getting ready to be a public company. We had 54 offers to buy our company, two over $1 billion that we took one to do a public reverse merger. Like, we were it. Our reputation, we were the shit. And this, catastrophic event happened and created all like nuclear explosions. And, we were trying to piece it together the best we can. We actually fixed a lot of it, not
Yeah,
fixing
I
the
was gonna
customers.
say
We're
you
working
did
on
take
that.
personal responsibility. I heard you saying
Well,
on
I
the
took
podcast.
responsibility for not having a second manufacturer when we switched.
Mm-hmm.
I took responsibility for not moving faster from leaving Generac.
Mm.
We trusted them because they were a public company and told us, we've got this fixed. Oh, we got this fixed. And I took their word.
Mm.
Either way, we turned it around and sales were up and things were going good again. But then they stiffed us for 90 million in service and refunds to the customers. And, when you're a big company like that, you got a big machine you're running,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of money, it puts you out of business. And,
Mm.
we didn't have any safety nets, and our banks tried. We tried to do everything we could do. And me and my business partner put in several million at the end to try to save it and cover the final payroll, and it wasn't enough.
Wow.
And so we didn't expect it. Like, the whole summer of last year, even with all the bad press and trying to figure this out, I believed we're getting through this. We went into
Mm.
July. July was better than June. August was better than July. I'm like, we're going to bounce back. But when Generac just didn't pay what they owed for
Mm.
all the replacements and all
Mm.
the refunds, we were staring at a barrel of the company went from, being very, very profitable in 2021 and, over 650 million in revenue, and having a whole, credit facility and debt facility available, almost up to 100 million, to being upside down in a matter of 90 days over the summer of last year, trying to operate fund without Generac paying us. And they squeezed us. I mean, they know what they were doing. And we were the scapegoat for them, getting into the solar industry. And it's sad because there's 5 other companies that were like ours, nowhere near the size, that
Mm.
had the same problem and closed because of this.
Yeah.
Now, so there's 5 class action lawsuits right now against Generac with consumers all over the country, some in states I wasn't even in, so they're not all our customers. And then there's a securities fraud lawsuit against them. And it's unfortunate because,
Yeah.
nothing's anybody ever 100% somebody's fault. Like, it always takes a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
But had had we not had we never went to Generac, it'd have been different. Had Generac done a national recall, it'd have been different. Had Generac been forthcoming of what they knew earlier, it would have been different. Had Generac paid us for the services and helped us clean up the reputation
Yeah.
problem they created, it would have been different. Now, I'm not sure what we could have done differently, except I should have had a second manufacturer. I should have made moves quicker. For that, I'm regretful. I'm regretful that I didn't get out and speak earlier against Generac. They were our partner, so we were
Mm.
trying to, just continue to, all right, well, we'll eat this. Let's go.
Well, you thought they were gonna pay at the end, so
And I thought that they were going to tell the customers more. They sent a letter to the customers, saying Pink Energy's doing everything they can, and it's our part that's
Mm.
failing. We'll get it fixed. But they should have done a national recall.
Yeah, dude.
If you got buy a car, there's a problem. You do a national recall. People are like, all right, I just got to go get it fixed. When they don't do that, they blame the place where they bought the piece from, And that's what happened. Like, we don't make the equipment. I don't have people in the garage making the inverters, right? So it's a manufacturer. It wasn't an installation issue. Of course, we had installation issues, just like any other solar company. When you have 40,000 customers and you're installing 800 to 1,000 customers a month, you're going to have 10, 15, 20 fuck ups that you got to go fix every month. Of course, we had that. We're not perfect. Things happen, right? I'd never hid from that. But we were always able to manage that based on our reputation for several years. That's why we had the highest, A+ in every market. The NFL picked us 5 times. Like, we've done all the things you're supposed to do the right way. And when this big problem came, it hurt, because then the little problems of just doing business got bigger and bigger and bigger because you couldn't get to them. So now, where you might have fucked up 20 installs a month out of 800, well, now you couldn't get to them. So after 3 months, there's 60 or 80 that are pissed. And they have a right to be pissed. All of them have a right to be pissed because their shit should work, but it doesn't. And that was the problem.
Dude. Well, I mean, I'm sure they probably, hindsight's 2020, but if they knew the avalanche of negative effects that would have had on their company, they probably would have handled it, a little differently. But I mean, I'm sure
it did hurt their company. I mean, their stock got cut in half when we closed.
Half, right? Yeah.
And so it cost them billions, right? And had they just done a national recall, it probably cost them a couple $100 million. So they handled it wrong, and it saved our business. Like, we were skyrocketing. We were involved in so many new projects. Microgrids, everything. We're adding jobs like crazy. I just did a roundtable with Trump. All these things were going on in a positive limelight to grow the business. And it's just sad, right? And it's sad because it's sad for the consumers. It's sad for the employees. Shoot, it's sad for the executive team and all our dreams and wishes that collapse. But, unfortunately for those, at least on my aspect, I can't just sit in the mud and scream and point. And a lot of people like confused. So for those out there that understand solar or don't understand solar, the best analogy I can give you is if I own a Tesla dealership. I said this on Bradley's podcast. It's important that people understand this. If I own a Tesla car dealership and I'm selling Tesla cars, I don't make the cars, I sell them. And I'm one of the best Tesla car dealerships on the planet. We're selling more than anybody else. We've got famous people and NFL players buying our stuff, because that's kind of how Power Home was. All these things, or Peak Energy Power Home, whatever you want to call it. All these things are going on. And all of a sudden, 2 Teslas catch on fire. Then we're calling, Elon's team saying, hey, what the hell is this about? I got 2 customers that bought these cars from us,
right,
that they caught on fire. And they're like, oh my gosh, we heard of a couple other dealerships had the same problem. We've got this fixed. We've got this firmware that will update and it won't happen again. Are you sure? Yes. They send an email. We're good to go. They send a firmware update. We continue to sell Teslas because it's Tesla and they fixed it. We're good. And all of a sudden we go from 30 people coming in to get their tires fixed, adjustment on batteries, whatever in the car, to 500, to 2,000, to 6,000. We're like, what the hell's going on? And it turns out all these consumers are pissed off because when that firmware came in, their charge for their battery wouldn't go 250 miles. It would only go 100 miles or 0 miles. So they were cussing and screaming, saying, you sold me something that doesn't work. This is bullshit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're like, what the hell? We had to get to the bottom of it. Turns out Tesla took responsibility and said, oh, that's a firmware. Now, I'm not blaming Tesla, so let me go on here. This is an example. Generac was the one that sent their firmware update, and then was like, oh my gosh, it's actually governing the system and making it not produce or shut it off. They didn't tell the consumer. They didn't tell us. So consumers getting their monthly bill, they're not saving money. They're getting angry. And they're like, this doesn't work. And they don't realize that it's because the firmware that hit the inverter governed the system and shut it off so it wouldn't catch on fire, and didn't tell anybody. They told us it would work. And then the way we found out they were lying is they made a new part. So they told us the firmware was a final fix. Then all of a sudden they came up with a new part. We're like, what the hell you came up with a new part for? Right. So we started replacing those parts, and that's when we knew we had to sue them, because they lied.
That's crazy, dude. So
crazy.
As an entrepreneur, I want to ask you, like, I must have felt like horrible to know that, you're at your last, like, you basically, you are at a point where you got to lay everybody off. You got to, bankrupt the company. So I want to ask you, as an entrepreneur, bro, like, how, I'm sure it felt horrible. Like, how did you deal with it? Like, did you have a strategy? I mean, no one's really prepared to handle that level of stress, but how did
No,
you
it
go
was,
through?
listen, I had a great executive team, first of all, right? I
Mhm.
mean, my team, we were spending, just like we handled COVID fantastic.
Yeah.
We were managing and mitigating through this well. We had great partners at Trivest, which was our minority investment partner. We were on with attorneys all day, every day, trying to figure things out. We got some bad advice about not getting in front of this and communicating. I'm
Yeah.
real big and, hey, if there's an issue, let's talk about it. They were like, no, this will die down. This is all hearsay on the news. We're working with Generac to get it. Let's not make it a big deal. And we should have been out up front, like, no, Generac did this. But because Generac was an investor in our pipe,
Right.
we were raising a pipe part of the reverse merger. We didn't want to run their name through the mud. They manipulated us pretty much. So we were like, they're going to fix it. It's not a big deal. So long story short, I ended up firing our PR team and said, that's bullshit. I got to get out. And I did a press conference. Should have done that 60 days. That's something else I regret, 60 days earlier. However, we had to learn. And what sucked is I never in my career had to lay people off. I mean, I fired people. I've never laid people off. And so in May of 2022, we laid off like 600. And then in July, we laid off like 800. And then when we closed, we laid off 800. So we were shrinking, and we've never shrank. And it was the hardest thing we've ever done, like to shrink and then let go.
Yeah.
And we thought, okay, we've got this under control. After the first 800, we're like, okay, are we going to be okay? It looks like we're going to be okay. It wasn't. We weren't getting funded. We were too busy servicing projects instead of installing new projects. The revenues went from in the 50s down to the 18, 20, which starts impacting your balance sheet, your books, and your profitability and your P&L and your cash flow. And so then we try to pick it up. And we were able to convert all these services to replace these, make these customers happy. And therefore, we're using our debt facility. And then finally, we started to turn around. It was like, well, we still need cash. All right, we're going to have to lay more people off and just start growing again. And this sucks. So we didn't go, okay, let's just shut all these markets down. We would look at certain markets that weren't as profitable and say, all right, we're going to have to lay those people off in those markets. But we'd also rank our people, right? I'm a big 80-20 guy. And so, like, if you had 15 people in your department, and we knew we were shrinking on our new installs, we were doing more service, trying to catch up, and installs were in the near future, you could only have 11. We said pick your best 11, right? So we kind of made directors and managers tell us, your squad can only go 75%. You better pick your best 75. And so we empowered them to help be a part of that process. And then as we went to the final layoff, I believed in the first week of September we were going to make it. Sales were up.
Right.
Cash was starting to creep up. Generac owed us some money we thought we were going to get. By the end of the second week, then they didn't pay us. And then the funding sources were like, hey, we can't fund this. There's so many clawbacks. We were in trouble. And so I remember I was coming back from Bama, my daughter's family event there, her college, parents weekend. And I remember being in an airport in Alabama that Sunday before we closed on Wednesday. And I called the attorneys and I said, guys, we're not going to make it. They're like, what? Because I was always like the positive one. I said, we're not going to make it. Like, we're not going to afford payroll. And, our CFO at the time was like, I think you're right. Me and Kevin are like, what do we got to do? So we put all the money we had in, that we could afford to put in to finalize that payroll and try to make it. And so we didn't close Monday, and every day that we were open, it cost us more payroll. But we're like, all right, let's try these banks, see if they save us. And they didn't. And then it was like, all right, shit. So then Tuesday it was like, all right, let's start going to other facilities and see if they want to add debt and sell some equity. Didn't work. And then Wednesday came, and we had this guy that had this major philanthropy fund that flew in and wanted to buy the company and do some things, and we couldn't work it out. And it was just too messy because of all the heat and the complaints out there. Yeah. And we ended up that day deciding we're going to lay everyone off. I remember having all the directors on the phone, and everybody was bawling.
Wow.
We were on a Zoom call, and they were bawling, crying. I mean, it was so bad because a lot of these people know me for years. And here's the sad part. They didn't know. They knew that we were going to go public, right? They knew that we've promised our employees that, look, we ever do a big deal like that, we're going to give you guys stock. Yeah. What they didn't know is we were giving them $100 million in stock. There were some of our employees that were going to be instant millionaires.
Wow.
closed. So
Bro, I
like,
got
it's
goosebumps
just
hearing you say this. Like it's
fucking sad, dude. It's fucking sad. So, you know, any kind of corporate, you know, hijacking bullshit, that's kind of what we lived through. And what's really sad is my face was the face of Pink Energy
yeah,
Power Home. And so, you know, people that don't know the situation, that are ignorant, that have never ran a big company, or a lot of haters out there. A lot of people are jealous. Like, how did Jason build that company so big? Oh, look, that's how. Like, they're fast to jump on the wagon and
yeah,
hate.
yeah, yeah.
They want to see the dragon die. Um, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
Right? There's
yeah,
nothing I can do about them, and they're gonna hate no matter what. And all I can say is, you know, my days aren't over. I hate that the company closed, but um, you know, nobody will do what we did the way we did it. In the good limelight, it just won't happen.
mm,
And I'll just have to build other things, but that's not what defines me, right? And
yeah.
these people, it's sad that they're that way, um, because I don't understand it, and I don't understand how they can comment or be a part of something. You know, I guess I wasn't in tune to reality of life, because I don't understand how they can be a part of something that they have no idea about, or they don't have the answers. It's
Mm.
like accusing somebody. You ever seen the movie Life?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
You gotta
So
go
it's a
watch
really
it.
funny movie. It's got Martin Lawrence in it, and it's got Eddie Murphy,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
and they go down. It's during the bootlegging days back in the 30s,
Uh-huh.
and they go down. The movie's recent, but not recent, about 20 years ago. And
Yeah.
they go down to the bootlegging, and they're down there in a casino. It's kind of like an all white casino, and then they come out, and there was this African American preacher that was walking by as kind of a crook, and he
Yeah.
gets murdered by a white sheriff, right?
Okay.
And so they walk up and they see that this guy's dead, and they're trying to help him. And then the sheriff automatically, conveniently pulls up with his other cops, his white cops, and they automatically say that you're going to jail. You did this. Like, we didn't do this, even though that was the guy that did it.
Right.
People that have ever seen that movie, that's what it feels like.
Right.
Like, yes, we're there in the scene, but we're not the ones that created the problem. And on the outside, that's what it looked like. And so
Mm.
it's hard to explain that to people unless they're down and in. And then I saw this comment on TikTok about the lion and the tiger and the donkey. Have you heard that?
No.
So the tiger and the donkey are arguing about the grass being blue.
Okay.
And the donkey's like, Tiger, the grass is blue. Tiger's like, no, it's not. It's green. It's like, nope, the grass is blue. Tiger's like, no, it's not. Donkey goes, we're going to see the lion. They go see the lion. The donkey immediately speaks up to the lion and says, Lion, the tiger is arguing with me. The grass is blue. He's arguing with me. The grass is green. Will you please tell him the grass is blue? The lion says, the grass is blue. The donkey says, can you please punish the tiger for arguing with me about this? The lion says, I will punish him. Donkey jumps away, all happy, walks away.
Right.
The tiger goes to the lion, goes, Lion, I will take my punishment, but I don't understand. Clearly the grass is green. Lion says, the grass is green. The tiger says, well, then why am I being punished? And the lion says, you're being punished because you're arguing with a jackass who will never change his mind. You're a well-established animal here in the jungle. You shouldn't be wasting your time trying to change a
Mm.
jackass's mind.
Wow.
So that really made me go, I got no time for people that aren't going to get it. They're not my people. I only got time for those that want to listen and know truth. Those that have their own assumptions, they're not my people, and they're going to believe whatever they want to believe. And that's kind of how I do things now. I saw that on TikTok a couple months ago, and it just hit home.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like the right people, like for example, me, when I heard your story of what happened, because I didn't know what happened prior, right? When I heard your story,
Yeah.
bro, my respect for you, even though we didn't know each other, like it went through the roof. I was like, I want to have this guy on my podcast because, dude, I love the fact of how vocal you were about the situation, where a lot of
I'm
people would
still
have.
voting.
Yeah, I know, no, and you still are, right? And a lot of other people would have just, hid away and not talk about it because it's like it's in the past, it's something that shouldn't be brought up, and things like that. But
Well, the lawyers don't like it, dude. By the way, the lawyers don't like that I talk about it. I promise. They
yeah,
give me a hard time every time, but I'll tell you what I tell you what I tell them. I don't give a fuck. People need to know the truth,
yeah,
and I'm stating the truth every single time, and the truth sets people free. I don't have anything to hide. We did everything we could do and did everything the right way. We always had the customer's best interest in mind, and we built a wonderful company. Reputation showed that. So
right.
I'm very vocal. And the reason why Generac doesn't do anything is because they know they're wrong. We have everything. We have all the Zoom calls. We have everything recorded where they're like, "This is on us. We should have done more." Like we have all that.
Yeah.
So they can't sue me for anything because there's nothing I'm doing that's not truthful, and it's
Right.
in the lawsuit. And so, and I could have taken two paths. I was too quiet at the beginning. I won't be quiet now. Now, for the first 90 days, dude, I was very pissed
Mm.
and I was angry and I was out there like wishing them bad. Like, ooh, look at their stock price. Yeah. Because I was so bitter that they crashed our company, dude.
Mm.
They screwed up over all those people. I was getting death threats. I was so angry.
Mm.
Not angry anymore. This has brought me closer to my family. Different opportunities have arisen. Like, I've got a reality TV show we just did with
I saw
Amazon
that.
Prime. We're still filming. I've got a new podcast that's coming out called Unleashed. That's crushing it. I'm building companies. I'm doing coaching, and I'm coaching some high level people and some entry level people. And I'm expensive, but dude, I'm changing people's lives. Their businesses are exploding, and I'm part of that, and I love it, and I can give them real business knowledge and
Yeah.
experience, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so it's a different calling. I mean,
Uh-huh.
trust me, I hate what happened and I wish it never did,
Mm.
but it did, and I can't change it. So I've got to live with it, and I've got to deal with it, and I've got to navigate through my life the way this is, and that's what I'm doing. And
Mm.
I'm not bitter anymore, but I'm factual. And so I still share, when they get other lawsuits, I still let people know. I let consumers know when the company filed bankruptcy to file a complaint so you can get paid. Put a complaint in there. And when the Generac lawsuit's won, you'll get paid something, right?
Mm.
But,
Mm.
you know, on the contrary, it cost me everything I ever built. I mean,
Yeah.
$400 million.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my heart, my blood, my soul, as an entrepreneur, that's your child. So when your
Mm.
child crashes or dies or closes, it's very sad.
But you owned it, dude. You owned it 110%, and I commend you for it. So, um, bro, back in the day when I was starting in solar, I've been in solar for coming up to 4 years now. So I used to always see your ads with Power Home Solar. I was like, this dude, man, with the blonde hair, and
Yeah.
always used to do ads, right? So I was like, then I found out you were actually, the owner of the company or whatever. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So for anybody that's starting out in solar and building out, there's most of the people that I work with are sales orgs, by the way, just so you know. But bro, you exploded your company. How big of a portion was that? Because you decided to take on digital marketing and show your face in the ads and run ads in general. Like, did that come naturally to my question is, did that come naturally to you, or was it like some type of advice that you paid for that kind of that
Yeah.
made you change your
No,
mind?
great question. So in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
we're already into the business for 4 years.
Yeah.
We're only doing ads for Power Home.
Right.
We haven't done any. We've already done an install at Ford Field.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a funny commercial, so I did a commercial. It wasn't a big ad.
Yeah.
We did a commercial of the Browns and the Steelers, but I really wasn't the face of the company. The
Right.
company's face was the brand.
Right.
I hired a company called Sussman Agency out of Michigan, which is they basically buy media and do TV ads and TV
Mm-hmm.
spots and Super Bowl commercials.
Mm-hmm.
We had a mutual friend, and I met with them, and they were pitching me on how we need to do a lot of TV. We were never doing TV. We were just doing digital.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I want to do TV. They're like, yeah. So they pitched me, and we're talking about it. And I came up with a script that was really great. Someone walks into the house, and it was about the health of this planet and
Right.
how solar works and all of that. That's what my commercial was about, that I wrote, and I was given to him. And I'm like, look, and we were talking to Morgan Freeman. We were going to hire Morgan Freeman
Wow.
for $5 million a year. And Alan Sussman, who owns the division, goes, tell me how solar works again. I'm like, well, the sun beats on panels. The panels comes down as AC. I'm sorry, it's DC. It converts over from the inverter over
AC.
to AC. Then they're able to use it. You charge battery. I go through the whole night. He goes,
Yeah.
we're not going to use Morgan Freeman. We're going to use you. And I go, like hell we are. I don't want to be on TV. It's like, no.
Wow.
You need TV. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be on TV. It's like, nope, we're gonna do something epic.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so show me what you got. So they showed me what they had, and they flew my team up to Michigan. I was already up there, and
Yeah.
we went over a bunch of they want to do something like Coca-Cola, like some kind of movement. And our whole company was called, BAM, building a movement, one panel, one customer, one employee at a time. They're like, we want a commercial that's a movement. So we did the commercial in Fox Theater with the Detroit Youth Choir where I'm on stage. And that was the opening thing. And I became the face of the brand. That took off. And people ask all the time, dude, would you do it again? Well, listen, I usually don't have regrets in life. Yeah, I would do it again, but I'd have got my face off earlier. One of the reasons it's okay. The reason you put a face with a brand is it builds credibility and trust. Okay. People want to know, I trust that person. Problem with that is it can also make you look small. So there's a point that when you get to a certain point in your business that you need to not be the face, right? My pillow guy still does it. He shouldn't. Okay. So think about that.
Right.
But I get doing it. So we people think that we changed to Pink Energy to run from something. That wasn't the deal. We had a deal in the works to do a reverse merger. We wanted a bigger name we did it in 2021 in October. We wanted a bigger name to go public. So we came up with Pink Energy. I wanted my face off the brand. I couldn't be a public CEO and be doing TV commercials. It was like ridiculous. So that was the plan. And that's why we converted over to Pink Energy. So we didn't have to do power, home, and solar. Those were small names, right? When you isolate yourself to solar or home or power, it's too small. Pink Energy was wide open.
Right.
And that was the play. So yeah, it did come natural. It's funny, the first commercial I did, he wrote the script for me. And I'm on stage with blonde hair, right? It's like, you got to keep the blonde hair. I fucking hated the blonde hair. You got to keep it. Like, all right. So I'm on stage with blonde hair, and we're with the Detroit Youth Choir, which is predominantly African-American, young, talented, inner city choir. That's the best fucking choir I've ever heard in my life. They sing better than anybody I've ever heard, ever. We even had them at Christmas party. Right. But the way he's having me read the script on stage with them in the background, I seem like a Southern Baptist preacher. And I lost my shit. So I said, dude, I'm not reading this shit. I don't like it. I'm done with this bullshit. He's like, I said, no. He goes, all right, asshole. Then what do you want to say? And I said, put the mic on. And I said, I just pitched from the heart. That was our first commercial. Wow. And he goes, holy shit, you have a gift. You need to be on TV all the time. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. And so, I would be involved in writing our commercials. Right. Like the We're Not Gonna Take It one with Twisted Sister song in Georgia. I had a big part of that. Walking down, marching, they're coming through like it was a rebellion against the power companies. Mm-hmm. And so, that's how it really came about. And then it got to the point where it's like, all right, we're too big. I want my face off it. And because my face was on it, that's why I got death threats when we closed. And that's why when someone's system doesn't work, they don't hate Power Home, they hate Jason Waller. That's a problem.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. But bro, I know some of your mentors are like, people like Wes, Wes Watson, Dan Locke. When did you
Ed Milet is my new coach, by the way. Ed Milet is
really?
Ed Milet.
You working with him? That's awesome, bro. So when did that happen for you? Like, were you always seeking mentorship from people, or did someone open your eyes to new possibilities that you can learn from mentors?
Well, look, everyone asked me, what would you do differently? The number one thing is I would have had self-improvement or CEO coaching or mentorship way earlier. I didn't get it until 2019.
Really?
And when I did do it, 2018. 2018, I did it. And when I did do it, it was Brian Elias, who owned a company out of Michigan, sold his company for $80 million. Then I hired David Meltzer.
I know. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yep. And then since then I've had 2 or 3 other coaches, and Dan Locke and Ed Milet are. Wes was, I would say I work with Wes coaching me. I work with Wes, to try to fix my body, and he's the one that pushed me to get into coaching, him and Dan. So I don't work with Wes on a coaching scale, like we don't have calls or anything like that. We're buddies, respect each other, but we do 2 totally different things, right? And so mine's more business oriented, his is more hustle and coaching, which I love and I admire him for it. He's got a great fucking story and he's a great dude. But yeah, he doesn't mentor me. But he did kick my ass to get into coaching, so I give him credit for that. Dan Locke mentors me, and now Ed Milet is my new mentor. So, and I'll keep Dan, but those are the ones that I admire the most right now. And I admire all of them, but sometimes you outgrow them, or sometimes you need different things. And I tell people who are seeking coaching or mentorship, my son plays football. He's not going to go get a golf coach to teach him how to throw a football. So a lot of these people, they think, oh, I'm going to get this guy because he's got status and millions of followers and has Lamborghinis, and he can do pull-ups, or he can do karate kicks, or he can swim a mile, or he can
Right, right,
scream
right,
at the
right.
microphone. That's not going to help your business, dude. So people get coaching for three reasons. One, status, which is sad, but it's true. Two
Mm,
is access, which is very important. And three is knowledge. And if there's something like, I deal with two or three solar guys right now, one of them's crushing it. I deal with another guy up in Michigan that does concrete bricks, and he's crushing it. He's up like 300%.
mm-hmm.
But it's because I'm teaching him business and digital lead gen. I have experience. I'm not going to teach somebody how to do squats, push-ups, diet, because I don't have experience. So when people hire business coaches or mentors, my advice is a lot of people out there, they don't have a business. They've never built a company. Their coaching's their business. That's not who you hire to grow your business. You hire people who have seen or grown a company similar or like yours that you can get knowledge from. That's the best
Mm,
advice I can give anybody out there, because I've seen a lot of these people sign up with yahoos out there in the group coaching or the one-on-one coaching, and they're just wasting their money, get shit they can get free on, like on a YouTube channel or on a podcast. And it's like, what are you doing? Have somebody dive in and help your company. Like for me, I got couple different packages, but I dive in. I want to know the business, the P&L, what you're doing, how you're marketing, what your bench strength is. Like I dig it deep. I give fucking homework. Like I want to see this change so people can build their business. And I want it to hurt a little bit to where it's like, damn, I'm paying for this. I'm going to do it. I've had a couple NFL players pay me a lot of money and then they don't do the work. I fired them. I'm like, dude,
right.
you're paying me and you're not even doing anything. Oh, I know, I'll get to it. I'm like, well, dude, you're wasting my time. I mean, I'm getting paid for it, but I could be helping people. And,
Mm,
I'm still building companies. So it's not like I help a lot. I don't have a full-time coaching job. A lot of these people, that's all they do. And then it's really just mind. And, I can help with mind. A lot of people can help with mind, but really you need skill sets, you need process, you need systems, you need
mm-hmm.
ideas, you need workarounds. How do I do this? How do I scale? How do I get better? How do I do, those are the things that I think um, people forget when they try to hire coaches and stuff. They don't look for it. They just, oh, that guy's real big and famous, I'm gonna hire him. It's sad. I've seen so many do it. And then some of them came to join my grouping thing. I had a group thing for a while. I ended up shutting it down. Um,
Right.
but they would be like, yeah, I was with so and so or so and so, and I really wasn't getting a lot. I'm just like, you don't. If if they don't have the experience, if they've never built companies, what are we doing? If you're
Mm,
trying to build your company, it doesn't make sense. But it's the best investment. I spent a lot of money on coaching, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it's why I'm so good at building companies, because I've
mm,
learned so much. You can't, if someone spent 100 grand with me, but they made 5 million more dollars in their company, is it worth it? You damn right it's fucking worth it. That's 50x, right? People don't look at it that way. They're like,
mm,
oh, I spent 100 grand, dude, you're going to make 30, 50, 100 times that if you listen and cut and find the way to cut corners to get things done the right way, and not
right.
have, dead cost and dead weight and slow growth and stagnant, and, just wastefulness. And so that's kind of get where it is. And I realize that, the more you pay for coaching, as long as they got experience, the better shit you get. That's what
Mm,
I've realized. Like Ed Milet's expensive, but now he hasn't really built a company like I have. He's built a different kind of company. He's helping me up here, right? Dan Locht helped me up here, but also with speaking and coaching. My other coaches helped me with my business. And I had people that aren't famous that were great business advisors that built big companies that I paid for coaching. I
mm,
didn't need their fame. I needed knowledge.
right. No, that's super like spot on what you just said, bro. I've spent a lot of money myself on coaching, and I've come to realize that that's, I mean, in hindsight, like you think to yourself, I should have done it earlier. But so where could people find you for coaching, man?
You can go to jasonwaller.com, JAYSONWALLER.com. It's called the BAM coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
Fill out a form, you do an intro call, and then we book calls. I do some I do by the call because you can get a lot in an hour. Some I do by the month, six
Right.
months or 12 months. It just depends on what they're looking for, And then I may start the group one again. I had about 40
I
or
think
50
you
people in
should,
it.
bro. I think you should.
It's just, dude, I'm busy. Like I feel like,
Just do it
for
one
what
hour
it
a week.
does.
1 hour a week, answer
But
people's
that's what I
questions.
was doing, and I'll tell you the problem I have with it
Okay, what is it?
is it's not generalized. It's still
Okay.
detailed, leveled one on one, and so I have a problem of I'm just an open book.
Okay.
So I'm giving people on a group one the same thing I'm giving one-on-one, which doesn't make sense. And when you only
Oh.
have 50 people in there, it's like not fair to those others. And
Mm.
I can't dig in deep. And so people aren't getting all the answers they want. Mine, if I do an hour a week, if I do it, it'll probably only be mindset. It won't be business. It'll be mindset of
That's
business is
enough.
probably what I'll
That's
do.
enough, bro.
Right.
Like,
I can't teach business lessons or marketing lessons or digital lessons because they got to get that coaching because it's like
right.
it's different for each company. It's different for what the goals are. If you're doing ROAS or you're doing customer acquisition cost, it's different on the platforms. Like there's
Mm.
things to look at that I have to dive into, and there's not a general answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like when I was doing the group thing, that's kind of what I was getting. And I had high demand for the one-on-one. It was like,
Right.
I only have so many hours I could do it. People were like, dude, I
Right.
really want to hire you one-on-one. I'll pay you. Can you come to my office for a month? For a few days. What can you do? And it just, I had to go where that was, instead of just general. But I may look at doing it again. We'll see.
Do it for the just mindset in life, bro. I think a lot of business is mindset, isn't it? So
Yes, it is.
so they got to handle that first before they get to the strategies. So I
Yep.
think 1 hour a week should be all right. So maybe you can think about bringing it back.
We'll see.
So what do you two things, bro? First of all, like, what do you think the state of solar is right now? That's my first
Honestly,
question. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, I'll give you an honest answer. No, go ahead. What's the second question?
Second question is there a solar itch somewhere on the back of Jason Waller?
So first answer is I think solar's hurting because the financing's so bad. And I think the same thing that happened in home security 5 years ago, 6 years ago, happened to solar. You got everybody wanting to go be their own little sales org, and you got everybody just bitching about red lines, and it became a horse market. That's correct. A horse market. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. People went and
Mm,
worked for people, created, you got them leads, they ran appointments, they door knocked, they got paid more. All these red lines and the Quativas and the Titans, and I love the guys at Titan,
mm,
all those guys, right? They're ruining the market because what you have now is you have every Tom, Dick, or Harry that thinks they can sell something that leaves a company. There's no loyalty. They go out and ask for a red line, and it's what I call a horse market. Did the same
mm,
thing in security. So you're going to see solar kind of do like this, in my opinion. And then you're
mm,
going to have some big regionals come in. You're going to have a couple big install companies are going to crash, unfortunately, my opinion. And it's going to be a mess. It's what happened in home security, but then it'll rejuvenate because solar's a need. But that's just my opinion because I've had 7 or 8 solar companies reach out to me and go, man, we've lost money the last 2 quarters. We don't know what to do.
wow.
And they're big. Some of them are big. Some do 70 million. One does 100 million. One does 20 million. Like,
How do
they're
you
like, we're
lose
fucking, we
money?
don't
How do you lose money if you make close to 9 figures a year?
down. Listen, it's all in perspective. If you make 1,000, you can lose money. If your cost and everything, your overhead's
Yeah,
there.
true,
You can,
true,
if you're making
true.
1 million, it's, yeah,
Mismanaging money, I
people.
guess, right?
Well, yeah, dude, your monster gets too big. Your customer acquisition cost gets too big. Your
Right,
ROAS is starting to be shitty.
right.
Your overhead shitty. Your conversions are shitty. Your cancellations are shitty. Your retainment shitty. Your installs are shit. Like you dude, it just adds up. The financing's too much, and you can't charge a customer that much, so you discount too much. You name it, all those things apply. And
Mm.
so they're hurting. And they're like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Well, you don't want me to fucking tell you." So I mean, I can, and I'm working with some people, and I've got some ideas on how to clean it up. One of them's actually doing it. So with that said, the horse market, that means everybody's out there throwing solar. I think everybody needs to sell batteries. If you don't, I think you're just adding more fuel to the fire. I think batteries is the future. We were 98% batteries the last 2 years we were open, so
Wow.
everybody was getting a battery. I'm a big believer battery. Just don't sell Generac. And then the the
Yeah,
the
for sure.
itch. Yes, I have an itch. I've had 3 offers, um, 2 of them to join a company, and one to start up and be a partner in it. This guy's got money and some experience. Um, so far, my answer is no,
Okay.
uh, but it's not no forever,
Right.
right? I mean, the problem I'll have if I open a solar company is not me subconsciously. I'm sorry, not me consciously, but probably me subconsciously. I'll be chasing the shadow of pink energy, right? Like, how do I get to that again?
Oh, I see what,
And I
bro.
don't want to do
Now I see it.
that,
I
right?
see what you're saying. I would have never
So
thought
it's
of
like
that, by the way.
I,
Thank you for
I
bringing it
never
up.
want to be compared to that, and everything I do in solar will be compared to that. And I'm not saying I can't beat it, because trust me, I love a good match. I might fucking beat it, because it's not like we got lucky, motherfucker. We fucking worked. So I think I could beat it, but I don't.
Mm.
I don't want to live like that, right? I don't want. I felt like I gave solar. You ever heard the song 25 to Life by Eminem?
Yes.
And he's like, fuck rap, I'm done. I gave you everything. I feel that way about solar, dude. I gave it everything, and solar turned its back on me. Not everybody, but a lot. And I'm like, you know what? You guys can fucking have it. Like, have fun. Go ahead and fucking roast on it, fight on it, chew on it, slaughter each other for it. Like that. Part of me feels that way. And it's unfortunate.
Mm.
But it's like, I don't think anybody will ever do what we did. There's just too many players now.
Right.
Nobody, what we were the largest private solar company in the country. We were the most profitable. We were fucking doing $1.05 billion public deal, like 5 NFL stadiums. No one will ever touch that. So they can all have fun and eat each other up. And until there's something big, catastrophic, not just us closing, because that was somewhat of a big deal, but something else happening big. Um, you got to get rid of all these shit sticks out there just hawking panels on the fucking, there's got to be more regulation. It's got to be more strict of who can sell it. It's got to be more strict of who can install it. It's just bleeding the market.
Right.
And, the interest rates got to go down. And so,
Would they go
panels got
down?
to go down.
Would they go down?
Yeah, everything goes down eventually. We were paying pretty cheap for our panels, man. Like I talked to some of these guys, are paying almost double what we pay. Holy shit.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's but I do get an itch. Trust me, I love solar. I love what it's about. It's just, I just don't know if I want to live in that. Right now my goal is to build 5 $200 million companies and sell each one of them. I got one going. I got another one open up in September. I'm really big into water filtration. I'm gonna open up something like that, make a
Okay.
difference. It's gonna be fucking massive. So I'm into that. But now I'm busy with this show and that stuff with family. This brought me and my family closer together. I was
Mm.
so busy for 2 years doing a rodeo, doing all these pitches to Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, Tesla, Sunrun, all of them looking at us,
Bro.
right? And now I don't have to do any of that. So I get a lot of different kind of time on my hands. Um, that's where I help people out and do stuff. But yeah, I don't know. The itch happens, right? Um, but right now, and I've had some great offers. But right now, if I would have got those offers the first 90 days, I'd have probably taken it. But the first 90 days, everybody was kind of scared to offer me anything. One company
Mm.
offered me something, but they were like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on here." And it's like, "Are you fucking serious? Like, really?" And so I think people were just scared that they would be canceled.
Right.
And I'm like, these motherfuckers been trying to cancel me since I closed. They can't cancel me. Fuck them. They can't. They cancel this. They can't cancel me. It's just they all try. They just can't. So, uh, yeah, the itch is but the offers. Look, and if the right deal presented itself that made a lot of sense, where I can be impactful, part of a good organization with a good team. I don't know if I'd start over. Although I
Mm.
could start over. Like one guy, it's doing, he did 20 million last year, and he thinks he'll do 100 million this year, but he's losing money. He's like, "How would you come on board?" I'm like, what his offer? I wasn't too impressed, but
Right.
I said, you could do 100 million by next year. Like I could start up Pink 2 tomorrow legally. Here's Pink 2 and do
Right.
100 million by next year.
Right.
I said, but I don't want to. But I could. I mean, all these people still want jobs, and they'd all come work for me like this. And I still got all the relationships, and I know our pricing and all of that. So,
Mm.
but I just don't want to be in that shadow right now. I like
I
what I'm
see,
doing.
bro.
I
I
do.
see what you're saying. So what's next for you? What's next for you?
Coaching,
Mm-hmm.
speaking, and doing the Bam Fam, dude. The reality TV show on Amazon is going to be huge. We think we're going to do something with either TLC or Bravo to
Wow.
extend it to 2 and 3 seasons. It's exciting because it's my whole family. It's not just me,
Yeah.
and they're better characters than I am. Like it's fucking hilarious. So we've got a lot more filming to do. They've done enough filming to do 3 episodes, but they're wanting to get more
So how does
content to
that
finish out
work? Is it
season
like
1.
crews like walking around you and with you and
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, so they come out Labor Day weekend and they're going to do a POV episode, point of view episode.
Yeah, yeah.
So these same guys filmed Elon Musk's point of view documentary that's being done. I can see the previews. So they'll have a camera above my head, camera on my shoulder, people managing them, and they'll
Right.
see everything that I see. Uh, and they'll be with us for 4 days. They were with us in Turks. They were with me when I went to Brad's place. People
Mm.
didn't know that, but I was just at his. They filmed some stuff. They were with me when I was in Utah with Sean Whalen and Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
They were with me when I looked at a company in Ohio. That was funny because I had a rip in my pants really bad. I had to hide. I'm sitting there doing a whole presentation and just shit's just dangling. I had to get behind a chair. It's all over camera too, so it's going to be great. And it wasn't on purpose. The shit just happened. Um, and then the Turks was really good. And, my family is a good dynamic, because I kind of run shit. Then when I get home, I don't really get to run a lot.
Right, right,
And
right.
so people like that. And originally the show was actually going to be more of a docuseries about me, but then they got a taste of my family, which I knew this would happen. And they were like, dude, they're really good. And I was like, let's just make it a family reality show. So they pitched it and everybody loved it. And so it'll be like 60-70% family stuff and 30-40% work. Like me,
Right.
I'm pretty rough. Like when I'm on the phone with somebody, I'm motherfucking them all day long. And it's not an act. I'm in a meeting, I'm chewing ass, I'm writing results down, I'm holding them accountable, I'm making them explain their changes. Like people work for me, thousands that have worked for me, will tell you, like they love me, they respect me, but I'm a motherfucker. And so they see that in the show.
Right.
And but then they see when I go home, it's different. I got 3 daughters, a son, 2 grandkids, married my high school sweetheart. She's fucking mean as can be sometimes, and I gotta hover down. Like it's just different. And so people like that, I think. And so we're doing a lot of that, and that'll
That's
be
cool,
big.
bro. That you've seen
Yeah.
yours, like Jason Waller from like both worlds, like work, home,
Well,
and
people want to know what's it like. Everyone always asks my wife, who's ever worked for me,
right.
how are you married? And she's like, it's hard. Like, it's hard. She's like, but I tamed his ass. And she's right. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
because I'm a hard ass, dude. But it's all in good intent. But I'm a fucking hard ass, and I expect shit done, dude. I don't. Nothing's ever good enough for me. AGB always getting better. I don't give a
Right.
fuck. We did 5 million. We need to do six. I don't care. We do six. We need to do 12. Like everyone always said, you're never satisfied. I'm not. Like, let's keep going. And so when I go home, I'm starting to learn. We were humbled. We lost $400 million, death threats, all this shit happened.
Mm.
That's part of the show too. Like we're having to deal with that stuff, right? My
Right.
daughter's in Bama partying, and then somebody's like, "Oh, your dad's this." She's got to deal with that shit.
Wow.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. It's cool. And then I might write another book after all this is said and done, and hopefully the Generac lawsuit pays all those people, and maybe I get something in the end. We'll see. But just building companies, coaching, and doing the Bam Fam show and the Jason Waller Unleashed. I got sick of my podcast just being money and business type stuff,
Right.
and so I want to talk about everything. Right? I want to talk about poker. I want to talk about politics, talk
Right.
about sex, talk about money, talk about music, talk about sports. And so I just got sick of it. I was like, I'm tired of just playing into everything. I'm done. And I'm real big against the woke. Like I don't like the cancel culture. So I talk about that.
Yeah, me too,
Um,
bro.
and I'm controversial. Like I don't sugarcoat it. When I was going public, I had to be quiet. Not to
Right.
say that. But I can say what the fuck I want now. And so I do. And it's fun. The show's fun now. It became work when I was
Mm.
doing it so much. Unless I talked to somebody who was so awesome that I was like getting so many gems, it became a job I did not look forward to it. I was like, I don't even want to do the fucking show. Like
Right.
ever. All the producers and managers like, we have nothing in the can. We need another one. You got to do something. I'd have to come up with some shit. And I hated that. And so now it's like, I'm driving back from the World Series of Poker and I lost. I got 37th out of 180 people, 29 spots pay. But
Wow.
fuck, I stayed up to 2:30 in the morning doing that. And then I took a shower, got ready this morning. I shared a little bit on YouTube and TikTok, but I told myself, I'm going to do a whole fucking episode on the shower. Why people do different shit in the shower. Like, what do you wash first and why? And I know that's odd, but that's the kind of shit I
Bro,
want to talk about now. I'm sick of talking about just fucking money and business and open and close. Okay. But what about like why do people wash their ass first in the shower and
Bro.
not their hair? Right? Like, that's real. I mean, it's real.
It's real.
And so
bro.
it's like, people just gonna start sticking their hand in their ass. It's like, dude, now you're washing your face. Like, wash everything first, then wash your ass. Like, what are you doing? But it's true.
It's true, bro. Dude, I like it. I like the diversity of content for sure. You should bring it on. So the old show is gonna be called the Unleashed with Jason Waller.
Yep, Jason Waller Unleashed.
Okay.
So
okay.
I've got 2 episodes out. One episode just came out last week. It was with one of my best friends, Joe Caban. I call him Fat Joe. He's the whitest Puerto Rican you'll ever meet.
Okay.
So he was my co-host on that one. Then I did one with what the fuck's her name? Jen Gottlieb. She's a good friend of mine. She's a speaker. That was some business, but then I started making her talk about aliens. She's like, I've never talked about aliens before. I said, well, you are now, boo. You are now. She was not ready. She's like, okay. She thought she was just going to talk about her book.
Right.
You bitch, you ain't coming on my podcast just talking about your book. We're going to talk about some other shit. We'll talk about your book. We're going to talk about some other shit. And she after she's like, oh my God, that was the best. But it's because everyone says the same shit. Like, I'm not saying the same shit anymore. So I threw her that curveball. So let's talk about aliens. Let me tell you about Dolores Cannon. She's like, who's that? I said, I'm going to tell you. And she was like intrigued. I'm going to have to watch that. I said, of course you are.
Right.
So I'm going to do one with Hannah, my oldest daughter, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about showering and washing your ass.
That would be dope, though. I'll be listening.
But then people are like, it's not the same shit.
Yeah. Dude, it's very unique and it's very different. I've seen your content on YouTube.
Did you see the one where I shit the bed?
I did see the one, but I saw the one where you're like, your makeup routine almost, when you're like, go to
So that wasn't my idea, makeup. Yeah. It's lotion. By the way, it's lotion and no makeup. But I do have my eyeliner, my eyelids.
Bro, I was like, nobody does this. I love this guy.
So eyelashes are tinted. Well, my wife goes, you should have getting ready with Jason. I said, who the fuck wants to see me get ready? She said, you'd be surprised. So here, true story. So I filmed it one day and I was like, this is corny as shit. And I'm doing it. I'm like, and I don't talk then. I'll do a voiceover. So I'm sitting outside the gym and I use this app and I do a voiceover and I do it one time. I'm done. Like, all right, fuck it. Let's see what happens. I have friends calling me and my wife's friends like, couldn't stop watch Jason get ready. It was so fucking intriguing.
It's
didn't
weird.
know he uses cologne
it's
like
weird.
that.
It's like, what the hell are you doing watching another man like putting freaking cologne and freaking?
But how does he do that? Why does he do it that way? Right. But it's normal, right? It's like, fuck, I should fucking rub that shit on my wrist like that. What am I doing? Like, that's the whole key where I don't want to be just this business guy because I am a funny motherfucker. And people don't know that. I'm an asshole, but I'm funny.
You are, bro. So I can tell already,
Yeah. And a lot of people like, they're scared to approach me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not an ass. I mean, I am an asshole, but I'm an asshole if you work for me, you don't do your job. Or I'm an asshole if you treat my family like shit. But other than that, I'm pretty nice and I'm funny. So, she gave me the idea to do that. So it's funny. I just made one today.
Really?
That was the shower one. It was a clip. That's the one on YouTube where I'm blow drying my hair and I'm putting lotion on them. I'm like, I do this 15 times in case you don't know. I'm like, I'm here at the Cherokee Casino and I got 37 that I talk about it. Then I'm like, because I was thinking about the shower and I was like, naturally, you take a shit and then you shower. Well, usually it's like shave, shit, shower, or shit, shave, shower, however you want to do it. Some people do it backwards and you shouldn't do that. But I took shit and then I get in the shower and I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to wash my ass first. That's gross. So I start washing my hair, face, and wash my ass last. So when I got out, I brought that up. I said, how many of y'all wash your ass first? Because that's gross. And you shouldn't do that because you're putting shit particles all over your body. And people don't even think about it.
They don't.
But it's like, it's legit.
Yeah.
It's just like when people are like, oh my God, make sure you wash off the grapes and all of this. Bitch, I saw you drink a soda can from the grocery store. You didn't wipe that shit off? Okay, Larry could have rubbed his balls and grabbed that fucking soda can and you're drinking it. You're fucking worried about, come on. So the world is crazy and we don't talk about it enough.
No, I love it, bro. Thank you for being on. You're one of the, craziest people and one of the, one of the coolest people that I've ever come across. And I salute you for it. Thank you for being on, brother.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Hey, let me know if there's anything I can help you with on solar. If there's synergies, you can hit me up later. We can chat about
For
it.
sure, bro.
You know, and then make sure you share this with my team, and they'll air it as one of my episodes. It'll say
For sure.
It won't have to be canned. I hate when my shit. I have to do so many. It's like, give me what you got. I'll put it out there because that saves me one I ain't got to do.
I love it. I love it. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much.
Hey, be good, brother. All right, bam.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video with Jason Waller. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you leave a comment down below of what your thoughts are from this video or podcast, whatever you want to call it, all right? So if you want to connect with Jason, we're going to leave a link to his podcast down below in the description. But you can find him on the Jason Waller Unleashed. That's his podcast, so go check him out. Dude is a freaking powerhouse. So I'm going to keep bringing people like that on the channel because I believe we have all a lot to learn from people like Jason. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next one.